Hi, everybody. Keith here. Hey, I wanted to go over another word with you here. Um, and of course, most of you know I pull a lot of my stuff out of the Black's Law Dictionary, simply because that's what the courts refer to most is your Black's Law dictionaries. Black's Law Dictionary, Ballantyne's, Bovier's. But I always urge everybody to look these words up in the regular dictionaries as well, because as I've always portrayed, is that definitions are just another man's opinion. So look up everybody's opinion and come up with your own. Basically, what I'm going over here today, though, is the word color. And in Black's Law Dictionary, it says color, an appearance, semblance, or simulacrum as distinguished from that which is real, a prima facie or apparent right, hence a deceptive appearance, a plausible, assumed exterior, concealing a lack of reality, a disguise or pretext. In pleading, a ground of action admitted to subsist in the opposite party by the pleading of one of the parties to an action, which is so set out as to be apparently valid, but which is in reality legally insufficient. Um, and basically, what that talks about is like when you get pulled over and you get a traffic ticket and you're not part of the federal corporation or the corporation or the state corporation or anything like that, and you're actually in your private capacity just traveling. Um, the ground of the action admitted to subsist in the opposite party, they're claiming that you give them jurisdiction or that they have jurisdiction of you, and that is apparently valid, but which is in reality legally insufficient. You can't just claim jurisdiction over someone. You have to prove it. That's why it's always important when you go to court. Always ask for the proof of uh, personal jurisdiction. Ask for that declaration of authority documentation that states that they have authority over you. What document gives them jurisdiction? What document tells them that you are a subject of theirs? What document tells you that you are an employee or something like that? Otherwise, it's just in reality legally insufficient. Then it goes on, it says, a term of the ancient rhetoricians and early adopted into the language of pleading. It was an apparent or prima facie right, and the meaning of the rule that pleadings in confession and avoidance should give color was that they should confess the matter adversely alleged, to such an extent, at least, as to admit some apparent right in the opposite party, which required to be encountered and avoided by the allegation of new matter. Color was either express, an example, inserted in the pleading, or implied, which was naturally inherent in the structure of the pleading. What that's talking about is today when they give you those traffic citations and the officer writes down in his comments, particularly in events where they arrest you and they want to say that it's a crime, the officer will use the word crime, committed the offense, the criminal offense, uh, did commit the crime, violating statute such and such. You'll find that often that word used often uh, in the dictation of reports, and it's an unlawful conveyance. It's done under color. And then it says the word also means the dark color of the skin showing the presence of Negro blood, and hence it is an equivalent to African descent or parentage. That's the only thing I see in regards to the nature of mankind when it comes to color in this one. And then it says under color of authority, it says that semblance or presumption of authority sustaining the acts of a public officer which is derived from his apparent title to the office or from a writ or other process in his hands apparently valid and regular. In other words, if you're not under the cognitive dissonance of believing that the police are your authority, and the police pull up and you ask them um, for the writ, they need to show you a writ. It's their job. It's their duty. If they can't show you a writ, in other words, a warrant, for stopping you because they believe that you've committed a crime or that you're the commission of a crime, then they have no business stopping you, period. They have no authority to stop the regular private man in his private capacity. That's why if you're driving around with in your truck and it says private property instead of having state issued plates, they should know better. That's a separation. I don't have to abide by the state statutes, codes, rules, and regulations in my private capacity because I'm not employed by them. You want to use your color of authority, use it on people that you have actual authority on. Don't use it on people like myself. And then it says color of law, the appearance or semblance without the substance of legal right. Color of law. Now this is one that's kind of got me, I've been thinking about it ever since I came across it, and it says color of law, the appearance or semblance without the substance of legal right. And for me, you keep seeing this word semblance in these. They've used it several times now, and that's kind of a lot like the word comparison. They're comparing it to the legal right, without the substance of legal right. What is legal right? Legal right is the privilege that these corporations take to adjourn and administrate in matters of this process for statutes, codes, rules, regulations, acts, ordinances. But they have no lawful right to prosecute any man. Period. Only a man can prosecute another man. So when you're drug into these courts, these corporate courts, and they've got this lady over there, or this guy over there that's named prosecutor. Let's make sure we understand their job duties right. They ain't prosecuting shit. They're violating your rights. Then it says color of office, an act unjustly done by the countenance of an office, being grounded upon the corruption to which the office is as a shadow and color. A claim or assumption of a right to do an act by virtue of an office, made by a person who is legally destitute of any such right. An act unjustly done by the countenance of an office, being grounded upon corruption, to which the office is as a shadow and color. In other words, when we go to these courts, we have to understand they're public buildings. And what it is a corporation is using them. Because there are buildings as well. There are buildings, period. And we're allowing a corporation to conduct business in there. And then when we go in, we think it's our courtroom. Well, they're the ones conducting business. If you don't want to have anything to do with them, don't go to court. When you go to court, you're going to court. You should go to court as prosecutor. Otherwise, if you're not involved in their corporation, then Walmart calls you up and says, "Hey, I need you here for an employee meeting." Well, fuck off. I ain't an employee of yours. Fuck out of here. That's how you handle Walmart. Same way he should handle these guys. Fuck off. Then we get color or title. And here again, I use that word again. The appearance, semblance, or simulacrum of title, also termed apparent title. Any fact extraneous to the act or mere will of the claimant, which has the appearance, on its face, of supporting his claim of a present title to land, but which, for some defect in reality, falls short of establishing it. Anything in writing purporting to convey title to the land, which defines the extent of the claim, it being immaterial how defective or how imperfect the writing may be, so that it is a sign, semblance, or color of title. A title that is imperfect, but not so obviously, so that it would be apparent to one not so skilled in the law. Here's the one that should get you. A title that is imperfect, but not so obviously, so that it would be apparent to one not skilled in the law. I'll get back to that. A writing upon its face professing to pass title, but which does not, either through want of title in the grantor or defective mode of conveyance. And I want to talk about that one here in a minute too, but we're going to finish this up. Just a couple more of these here. It says, that which the law considers prima facie a good title, but which, by reason of some defect, not appearing on its face, does not in fact amount to title. An absolute nullity as a void deed, judgment, etc., will not constitute color of title. That which is title in appearance but not in reality. Any instrument having a grantor and grantee and containing a description of the lands intended to be conveyed and apparent words and appoint words for their conveyance. It says APT. I don't know why they would use an abbreviation. Give color of title to the lands described. Such an instrument purports to be a conveyance of the title, and because it does not, for some reason, have that effect, it passes only color of the semblance. Such an instrument purports to be a conveyance of the title, and because it does not, for some reason, have that effect, it passes only color or semblance. Okay, let's change one word in there. I'm going to change just one word, and hopefully this will help people understand this bullshit that they play on you. Such an instrument purports to be a conveyance of the jurisdiction, and because it does not, for some reason, have that effect, it passes only color or semblance. And this is what people need to understand. This is what you need to get over and realize, that when that nice officer pulls you over and writes you a nice ticket, you write on there UCC 1-308, reserving all your rights. Reserving all your rights, which means you have the right to maintain your own authority, and no one has the right to take jurisdiction from you. No one has the right to procure an instrument that purports to convey the jurisdiction. And that's what he's doing. He's writing you a ticket. When you sign it, it purports to convey the jurisdiction to them. Every time you sign a document, it conveys jurisdiction. Let's get over it. Quit signing documents unless we know exactly what they say, or know exactly what we're doing, and use that UCC 1-308. I'm not part of their universal commercial code system, but I'll sure use it. Help them understand that I reserve all my rights. I've used it in the past. I don't think I'll use it in the future. I think I like sticking with common English. I reserve all my rights. Color of title is not synonymous with claim of title. Color of title is not synonymous with claim of title. Claim of title is when you can make a verbal claim of title. And it doesn't matter how much they purport they have a title to my vehicle. The state purports that, well, there's a vehicle to that title. I don't give a fuck. It ain't my title. My title is my claim. My verbal claim. That is my truck, not the state's vehicle. Fuck you, state. To constitute color of title, there must be a paper title to give color to the adverse possession, whereas a claim of title may be shown wholly or by peril. Wholly or by peril. Peril. A verbal. What I just said. Oral or verbal claim of title. All I got to do is claim title. And until you can come up with proof that that paper title is valid, my claim of title stands. Yours is just a color of title. Understand these words, people. Understand how to use them. Now I'm going to go back up to this thing. It says, anything in writing purporting to convey title to the land which defines the extent of the claim, it being immaterial how defective or imperfect the writing may be, so that it is a sign, semblance, or color of title. A title that is imperfect, but not so obviously, so that it would be apparent to one not skilled in the law. So if you're not skilled in the law and they're using this stuff against you, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's color of title, color of jurisdiction, color of claim, all of this. It's all colored. You don't really have to know the law. You just have to be able to get in there and understand what they're using against you in regards to that law. Or in regards to that statute. As long as you haven't broken the law, you haven't committed a crime by injuring another person or harming them or causing them to suffer loss or damage to their property, then you've committed no crime. You've broken no law. You've only been accused of violating a statute, code, rule, regulation, code, or act, and ordinance, whatever, that you may not be party to. I suggest you start finding out. A writing upon its face professing to pass jurisdiction, but which does not. I changed that word title there to jurisdiction, either through want of jurisdiction in the grantor or defective mode of conveyance. This is what they're doing, people. They're not just using defective modes of conveyance of title. They're using defective modes of conveyance of jurisdiction. They're using defective modes of conveyance of words. They're using defective modes of this. They're using it all under false and fictitious pretenses. You have to get into this stuff and start comprehending it. And this is simple stuff. Wait till you comprehend what and means. If, or, may, will. Those are simple words, people. And you don't even understand them. You don't even understand how to use them. If you did, you'd understand how they're using them against you. Anyway, last one down here in Black's Law Dictionary says colorable. That which has or gives color. That which is in appearance only and not in reality what it purports to be. And here's the part I like. Counterfeit. Feigned. Having the appearance of truth. Remember, we just discussed in my last couple videos the word false. Uses counterfeit, feigned, and having the appearance of truth. That's false. Colorable is false. When the officer gives you a ticket and claims to have jurisdiction, he's unlawfully conveying jurisdiction. He is coloring his jurisdiction. He is giving you a false document. False. Fictitious. If you want a false and fictitious document, you sign it with your false cursive name, and you stand up with your false fictitious person and accept responsibility. Okay. Last part I want to talk about here, we're going to go over to Ballantyne's Law Dictionary. And this here, it says color. Mere semblance of a legal right. State ex rel. West versus Des Moines, Iowa. A characteristic of some races of men, but of primary legal significance in reference to Negroes. A personal characteristic of vivid quality. Usually some measure of flamboyance. Okay, now he started out with mere semblance of a legal right. Colorable case, see colorable cause. And it says colorable cause. A case which upon the facts stated in a complaint or accusation is sufficient to invoke the jurisdiction of an inferior court to issue process. In other words, that ticket, when you sign that ticket, a case which upon the facts stated in a complaint or accusation is sufficient to invoke the jurisdiction. When you sign that ticket, it is sufficient to invoke the jurisdiction. When you sign it, reserving all of your rights, it will raise your eyebrows, and you might still want to appear to court. But if you don't, which I have done, signing tickets with UCC 1-308 and then never show up, I've been arrested since. These are tickets that have been on the books for a couple years, and they've done absolutely nothing about them. Colorable claim, a claim which superficially is proper and well-founded, but may actually be invalid. A claim to property by a person or in possession against the demand of a trustee in bankruptcy for possession, made in bad faith and without legal justification, or so lacking in substance and merit as to amount to a mere pretense. Colorable invocation of jurisdiction. Colorable invocation of jurisdiction. Now, I didn't realize this until I already spoken to you people about it, but this is in Ballantyne's. I was expecting to see the same kind of words as the other Black's Law Dictionary, but I certainly wasn't expecting to see colorable invocation of jurisdiction. See colorable cause, and we've already seen colorable cause. And I'm going to real quick Google invoke, and it says cite or appeal to someone or something as an authority for an action or in support of an argument. Invoke. Colorable invocation of jurisdiction. In other words, the officer is asking the court to invoke jurisdiction. Different than evoke. Because then when I go to court for that officer writing that ticket, which I've signed or autographed, I autograph now, printing my first name only, and then attaching my thumbprint, make sure it attaches to my letter H on my name, or on my appellation. I then will go to court after signing I reserve all my rights, or autographing with I reserve all rights. I will then go to court and evoke the court of record, my court of record, which is something that is already there, something that I have inherently. It is not something that I have to ask for somebody else to do for me. So when I enter my document evoking my court of record, it is open. I'm the one that opens it. I don't ask the court to open my court of record for me. So then it is up to me to stand up and follow the rules of my court. And I have to be able to do so without fearing them and their threats of intimidation and jail time and this and that. Because all they've done is they've got an officer with a nice shiny badge that has asked them to invoke his jurisdiction so that he can process a complaint that he accuses me of violating his state code, statutes, rules, regulations. Sorry, ain't going to happen anymore. So understand these words, people. These are important things to realize. This is what they're using to control you. This is what they're using to herd you, just like sheep and cattle, and get you to do what they want, and be their slaves. I don't want you to be slaves. I love you. That's all I got. Have a good day, guys.